What up, Laker family? It's your boy DTLF back with another post-game recap as the Lakers lose to the Charlotte Hornets 100-97, and it was pathetic. It was pathetic. I mean, it had some exciting, fun moments at times. LeBron James posted dunk over Mark Williams was the highlight of the game. But it was just sloppy. We didn't came out here like we wanted it from the beginning. I told you guys we had to put him out early. Instead, we gave him life. And then Austin Reaves got ejected in late in the third quarter, and we really missed his playmaking and shot making abilities because we end up not even getting to 100 points in our house. Giving up a 31-point fourth quarter to the Charlotte Hornets, and they topped us. So credit to them. I hate the fact that we lost to a 13-win team, but we did, and that's back-to-back bottom of the barrel teams that we've lost to now. One being the Utah Jazz, and the next one being Charlotte. So it feels really pathetic, and I'm really disappointed. I'll get to the comments right now. But we gave up 29 points to Miles Bridges and 27 to LaMelo Ball. That's a recipe for disaster. And then meanwhile, LeBron James played hero ball. He was spectacular down the stretch. He couldn't hit the game-tying three. Luka was way off. He was 5 for 18. He had a shitty game. 14 points. He ends up with 6 turnovers, so he's got to dial it back. He did have 11 rebounds. He had a big bucket after a rebound there in the fourth with 8 assists, but just not enough production. Austin Reaves was off 3 for 9, 5 for 18 for Luka, 10 for 22 for LeBron. He was the best player. And then Rui came up short with missing 2 big free throws at the end, which seems to be our curse. All right. It happened with AD before. It's happened to LeBron before. Now it happened to Rui, missing 2 clutch free throws. So, again, very disappointing freaking loss here by our Lakers. And that's back-to-back crappy losses. The refs were atrocious, but it's still no excuse for the Lakers, man. Lakers came out of here and played horrible. I'm talking from beginning to end, turning the ball over time and time again, and not coming up with the big possessions, second chance rebounds and stuff like that, still killing us. We ended up with 18 total turnovers at home. That's really bad. My goal is always, 13 or lower. We had 17 fouls. Again, the refs were atrocious, but it was just bad. It was bad, y'all. We out-rebounded, believe it or not, by 50-47 overall, but we gave up 9 offensive rebounds that end up costing us. We tend to struggle this season with young teams. They just tend to outshoot us. We shot 15 for 51 from beyond the arc. I would have wished we didn't shoot so many threes, so that was very disappointing in itself. And we saw whose team it still is at the end. It's still LeBron's team. He took the last 2 shots of the game. That showed me enough. He's still his team. He won't hand over the keys as long as Luka's shooting as horrible as he is, 5 for 18. So hopefully Luka can step it up and eventually take those last shots. Or Austin. But unfortunately, Austin got kicked out. I didn't think we would need him to versus Charlotte to the point, but I guess we ended up missing his playmaking and shot creating because I think this pretty much fortifies my idea that we should bring him off the bench. We had no bench production in the second half. First half was okay. It was pretty good. Finney Smith was knocking down threes. Second half, they went cold. And with no Austin there, nobody to spark us up, it was really tough. Gabe was just okay today. Nothing more than that. But what a disappointing loss, guys. After All-Star break, I would have thought we were rested. LeBron, again, at 40, looking like our best player. We can't have that. Luka better get with the program quickly and adapt. I know it's a lot of pressure playing in L.A. I know he's still a little bit out of shape, but he got to get back because this was a horrible game for him tonight. A lot of people will blame him for the loss. I don't believe in blaming one specific person because if we could blame Rui for missing those 2 clutch free throws at the end, right? But yeah, Luka was 5 for 18, 1 for 9 from 3. I would hope that when he's missing from 3 like that, he starts to go inside. He starts playmaking a little bit more. Like I said, he did have 8 assists and 11 rebounds, but that was accompanied with 6 turnovers. So it was not a good game by any stretch. He had good glimpses of what he could be, but we still don't have Luka from Dallas yet. All right, so again, we're waiting for him to arrive still. This is game 3. Tomorrow we play again, thank God, because we need to watch the stench of this game. But this could be a series. This could be a serious setback for us, losing to these type of teams with better teams coming around the corner. So again, it's going to take some time. Obviously, we made major changes at the trade deadline, but we got to figure it out. RZ, appreciate the super chat, brother. Said Rui should be bench for Vando and Reddish, and we need more defense in the starting lineup. LeBron carried. Luka was decent, and soft-ass refs ejecting Reaves. Yeah, I agree with everything. And I've been telling you guys why I wanted Austin Reaves off the bench even before we saw Luka debut, because, yeah, the defense is going to struggle. It's like we have all offense in the starting unit, and all defense off the bench. So yeah, it's gonna struggle, man, and we got to get it right. But I agree, and I appreciate the super chat, brother. Thank you, man. But disappointing loss. I know it was some of your guys' birthday before the game, and I really wanted to get this one for you guys. But most importantly, we have lost 2 out of 3 games with Luka, so the narrative is obviously going to start. It's going to start, but we're going to silence that because I know when Luka gets right, he's going to be tremendous. He's showing glimpses, but nothing consistent yet. Austin getting tossed changed everything. It shows you guys how important, I've always said how important Austin is to this team. Now, I thought we could still win without him, but unfortunately, I was wrong. We lost, and we could have definitely used him, especially when LeBron got rest and when Luka got rest. But all in all, we still have a lot of improvement to do. The rotations have to be improved. Different starting lineup will be required, in my opinion. I've always said it after we made this trade. I think Austin and Rui both off the bench for Vando and DFS with LeBron and Luka. That way, when LeBron and Luka go to the bench, you still have Austin out there with Rui, and they can be primary scorers then, right? It doesn't mean you play them under 30 minutes and you can finish with both of them, but you got to start, I think, off to a quicker start for sure. Luka will be fine, guys, but this was 2 straight terrible losses. It made me sick to lose to these teams, man. Then you got LaMelo out here gloating like he's really a good team. That's what really pissed me off. He's a hell of a ball player. I'm a fan, but tonight I hated it. I hated it, absolutely. Lakers still have to get used to each other, though. Adding Luka, there was many turnovers where Luka expected players to be at a certain position. You could tell that Luka is the type of player that he kind of has to know where teammates like to be, right? A lot of it was guessing. And let's be honest, guys. I don't pull it up. His defense was good for most of the night, but in that final possession, LaMelo absolutely cooked them. And by the way, LaMelo cooks everybody, to be fair, but this was just disgusting. This was just sickening. Look at this crossover. Tween, and with the heads, he got him completely out of the way. And that was just one of the 2. That was one of the 2 times LaMelo cooked. Then we put DFS, and even DFS couldn't stay in front. He's a tough young player, but man, why do they only have 13 wins, right? So I'm not really impressed by this win, to be honest. By them, I'm more disappointed in the Lakers, if I'm being quite frank. Very disappointing loss, man. And JJ has to do a better job with the rotations. There was a stretch where they kept hitting threes, and JJ didn't call a timeout. I'm like, bro, you're turning into Darvin. Don't do that. We're giving you plenty of praise. You got to make sure you call timely timeouts, right? We got to do. And then the refs were horrible, man. We were getting hit in the head and almost executed out there, and they failed to call a flagrant, yet it was so easy for them to toss Austin Reaves. That was weak, man. Wish we kept Mark Williams. Injury risk is worth a championship run. Need some emotion from Luka. I really wanted to see more from Luka tonight. Unfortunately, I didn't see what I wanted to see from him. There was a little bit of fight in there, though. It wasn't all bad. Like, there were some moves that really had me oohing and awing, for sure. LeBron, he was spectacular, especially in that fourth quarter. But we can't keep relying on LeBron James to save us, man. He's 40. At some point, he's going to break down. Luka has to take over eventually. And I was disappointed that he didn't even get one of the 2 last shot attempts. I wanted him to get one because I know he's clutch. But tonight, he just didn't have it going, so I'm not too upset about that. Regardless, I mean, we got to do better than, we got to do better than 5 for 18 and 1 for 9 from beyond the arc. I do like his rebounding, and I thought his defense was decent for the most part. He's a big body. He can guard multiple positions. He even switched out to the 5-man and guarded Mark Williams successfully sometimes, for sure. But you know what, Voice of Reason, I do appreciate you, my brother. Thank you so much for Super Chat. You're right. We want to see more from Luka because we've seen it in Dallas. But remember, it's going to take a while to adapt. Anytime you get a new superstar with a new team, mind you, Luka has played his entire career with Dallas. The system has been built around him. He's trying to be more of a team player. Him and LeBron are taking turns, and they were doing a good job during stretches. It was a lot of fun. You would see Luka hit a big shot, then LeBron James come down and knock down a 3 or attack the rim. That dunk, all right, that dunk this man had was just insane. All right, at his age, he should not be able to do this, man. He should not be able to do this. Let me go ahead and put it up. At his age, LeBron James, this is just uncanny. This is not human, yo. He should not be able to do this.
He's just shots when he's contested.
That's insane. That one almost made me lose. I thought we were all the way back after that. That was nasty, y'all. Like, not only was the trade rescinded, but it was sended and then rescinded again after that. Like, LeBron is still in his prime somehow at 40. Still carrying us, still brought us back tonight. We need Luka to start taking the reins to take some pressure off of them. But he said, we simply weren't hitting shots, played solid on defense. Our offense was atrocious, turnovers and breaks. Well, it wasn't always atrocious, but the turnovers definitely factored into that for sure. Disappointing loss 2 in a row. 2 disappointing losses in a row. It's all part of the learning curve, man. I hope eventually the Lakers get it right, but that was really bad. I don't want to see 53 pointers, though. We got to figure out a way to mix it up more. I know Luka's a big-time three-point shooter. I know LeBron can settle at times in Austin Reaves, but they got to mix it up, man. 50-plus three-pointers when you're shooting less than, let's see, what did we shoot exactly? I'll tell you guys. We shot 29% from beyond the arc. We had no business shooting 50, right? I think that's also a reason why we lost. I was getting frustrated seeing us settle. So, yeah, we got to post up Luka and LeBron more for sure. I like it when the ball's moving and it's finding the hot hand, but yeah, we better win tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into a must-win now. Terrible loss. Good news is they forgot about it and have a good game in 20 hours. Ain't no good news to this. Back-to-back losses, man. Jazz. Now this one, I love you, D-Free, but ain't no good news coming out of this loss. The only good news is after tomorrow, if we get a win. That's about it. But at this point, we can't even count our wins because Portland's playing better than Charlotte. Right? He said, Kimiko kicked that troll out, the white guy. Yeah, I'd appreciate it if you would, Kimiko. Thank you. Let's see. Strega says, what a majorly UD. We waited a week for this. I know, Strega. I almost lost my voice tonight yelling at the goddamn computer. Like that was so disappointing. It's an embarrassing loss. We got to be better. Part of it is settling for threes. The other part is turnovers. You know, our superstars especially, they got to lead by example. And I know Luka's just feeling out the team right now, so I understand. But he can't force it, right? He had 6 turnovers to his 8 assists. That's not a good assist to turnover ratio, right? LeBron, ironically, only had 2 today. Reaves had 3. He's got to cut back too. But, you know, if you combine all of those, you're giving up double digits in turnovers. Can't have that, right? Somehow, though, like I said, Luka actually played good defense. He ended up being plus 13 in the plus minus. He ended up, leading our team in plus minus. So that's how good Luka is, in spite of being 5 for 18, right? So it tells you that there's a lot of room for improvement, but yeah, it's got to be better. Thank you so much for Super Chat, Strike. Appreciate it. Games like this is when we mix Max. Yes, I'm glad you said it. Max Christie, that's why it hurt me so bad to trade him more even so than AD, because the perimeter defense will suffer. However, if you throw out DFS like I suggested, instead of Reaves, bring out Reaves off the bench so he can hold the ball more. It even affected him the last 2 games. He's been struggling playing alongside Luka. So I think the best scenario is to bring him off the bench and let him be a primary scorer / playmaker off the bench, like I even suggested. And I think that's the best solution for everybody involved. The man, Luka's not the type of player I like to watch, but I'm trying to be patient with him, getting in shape before I get on his bandwagon. We might have to let AR go so Luka can go to work. I wouldn't say let him go, but bench him for sure. Luka's definitely the type of player I like to watch. He just hasn't been Luka yet. We haven't seen an elite Luka game. He's yet to reach 20 points in any of the games, right? Which he walks to 20 points usually. But see, Luka's finding out that you're not going to get the same calls you were getting in Dallas here. He was marching to the free throw line in Dallas. Here, you can get sandwiched, you can get hit, bumped, and bruised. LeBron almost got his head taken off, no flagrant. You don't get the same calls here. It's just historically the Lakers, we always get robbed of calls. It's like they got a V for vendetta against us, the league. So, you know, they look like the 3 blind mice out there, the refs did. And you know, but I'm not blaming the refs for this loss because the Lakers did self-destruct at some point. Passport Blackheart, appreciate you, my guy. He said, no rim protection. Luka can't play defense, and small ball is going to cost us with no shot blockers. That is the biggest weakness we have. However, our defensive wings are elite, and we need to use those to oblivion. We need to spam those like a damn cheat code. I say start them both, and I've been said it as soon as the trade went through. Without AD, without having a big man at the trade deadline, we need Vando and DFS out there. The sooner JJ realizes, the sooner we can get back on the win streak on the winning side. You can't lose to the Jazz on the road and then come back home after All-Star break, after a week off, after all the practice and everything, and then lose to the Hornets of all teams. You gave up 100 points and you didn't get 100 points. You can attribute a lot of that to rust and Austin getting, you know, ejected and the refs being trash, but ultimately we had more than enough talent. That's on the coach. Should have got us prepared for tonight, and that's also on the star players. They let us down, except for LeBron. LeBron balled out, but yeah, I agree with you, brother. Thanks for Super Chat. Tasia says Vando needs to start. 110% agree with that. Same with DFS, who, by the way, has good chemistry with Luka and can knock down tons of 3-point shots. We could be 34-19 and 4th seed in the West with the 3rd seed in sight, but now we definitely need to get it together. 29 games left on the season. Hopefully they will. Hopefully they will. He says small ball wasn't the issue. We are rebounding them and got stops. No, the issue was the turnovers and the sloppiness. And I actually really liked Luka's defense. I don't know if you guys paid attention. There was a lot of times when he got isolated one-on-one, except for in the end. But he got isolated one-on-one, and he was able to get stops and even rebounds and box out. And even a steal, got out in transition, hit a layup. So Luka's defense is a little bit underrated. It's not where we want it to be. He's not an elite defender by any means necessary. But he'll hold up. What we can't have is Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reaves out there being liabilities from time to time, because then, they start catching their rhythm. You see, Miles Bridges shouldn't have had, 27, 30? How many did he have? Miles Bridges shouldn't have did what he did tonight. He's good, but he's not 29 points, 9 for 22, 5 for 11 from the field good, right? So we let this man just go off on us tonight. And same thing with LaMelo. He got hot in the second half, and it was curtains. He said the offense looked terrible in the minutes with Vando and Hayes. I wouldn't start Vando. I wouldn't mind starting Gabe or DFS. I would start Vando but not with the guys that we started, right? Obviously, I would subtract at least. I think Rui needs to go to the bench too. I think he does. But if we subtract one person, I would start. If we only subtract one person from the starting lineup, it's Austin Reaves. Why? Because it's too much redundancy, and you're taking him out of the ball game by having Luka handle the ball most of the time. So it would be actually perfect if he becomes a primary ball handler as soon as Luka hits the point, right? And you can alternate Luka and LeBron in there with him for some minutes, but I need Austin to be aggressive like he was before the trade deadline. I don't need him to go away and just kind of stand in the corner and do nothing. He was breaking the defenses down and playmaking a little bit, but it was late in the game already, and then he got ejected when he was starting to get hot, unfortunately. And Austin is definitely severely missed this game because he usually starts taking over when it's time, right? So right now, currently, I would say until he's back to 100%, AR-15 is the second best player on this team, for sure. And that's fine. But I will bring him off the bench still. David, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much again for always gifting memberships and just being a phenomenal subscriber here to the channel, bro. I do appreciate you, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. You are goated. All right. He said his defense was terrible in the whole fourth. All they did was pick and roll to get the switch for Luka, and Luka got blown by. That won't go away. Luka doesn't have the foot speed, but his scoring offsets it. Yeah, it was terrible in the fourth quarter, but like I said, it wasn't terrible all game. But yeah, they definitely did. Just like Austin Reaves, they're going to switch over to the white boy and hunt him, which is what NBA players do usually, right? They see a white boy on them and they think, oh, I got a mismatch, right? So it'll happen, but I thought he did a lot better job of switching on the bigs and the wings than I expected him to. Watching him from afar, from a distance, I never really paid attention to his defense too much, but he's decent. He's not halfway bad, right? Fourth quarter, he did get cooked, but so did everybody else. Even DFS, when he switched out, got cooked in that final play. DFS got to start. Vando needs more minutes. I would start him both personally, but yeah, I agree. At the very least, DFS should start for sure, man. JJ Pathetic Church, we got to speak the truth. Well, he's been good all year long. I do agree that he took too long to call a timeout and switch things around for sure. I agree with that, man. And, that is very true. Tonight, he wasn't at his best. God, I wish Austin didn't get ejected now. I really thought we could expand him. I was like, at least he'll have fresh legs for tomorrow. But now looking back on it, I wish he would have stayed on, man, because he could have made some big plays. We know he's a big-time player down the stretch. Absolutely, Chemical. You're right. Thank you so much, David. Shout out to David. Demon React says, this is an adjustment period, but losing back-to-backs to some of the worst teams is something I haven't seen since the Westbrook era. Ooh. He who shall not be named, that is dangerous. That is dangerous territory. I'm not going to go that far, but yes, it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. I won't say it was as bad as that, but it was pretty bad, man. And it is, like you said, it's going to be an adjustment period for sure. And hopefully the Lakers adjust sooner rather than later, because we need to start winning games in the West. Otherwise, we could be in trouble. And the last thing we want to do with a brand new team is be in the play-in tournament, right? We don't want to be like the Warriors and those teams. So we got to figure it out. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, man. Hopefully he does. Remember earlier in the year when we were actually running plays for DK? That was nice. We went completely away from that, and his confidence dropped off the face of the planet, which I predicted would happen, but I didn't think it would sustain with his confidence being down like this. What I want Dalton to do now after being traded is no more Mr. Nice Guy. No more deferring passing. I want this motherfucker to come off the screens and just shoot that bitch. Just let it go every time. I don't care if he misses. Eventually he'll catch a rhythm. We need him to be the Kyle Korver of this team for now. Later on, his role will evolve and potentially get better. He needs to work in the offseason, but for now, he just needs to be the Kyle Korver. Come off the screens and let it go. And then, when he has a lane to the basket attack, he's a high flyer for sure. So LeBron's dunk was amazing. Too bad it's gonna be memorable, but not as much as if we would have got this win. We're gonna want to forget this loss real quick, man. But again, it's gonna be an adjustment period. Luka is still him. He's elite. He hasn't looked like himself. Some people are speculating that he's hurt. Some people are speculating that is just a brand new team and he's out of shape. Speculations will continue to go until he has a nice 30-point game with 10 assists and 5 rebounds or whatever. Then it'll all get put to bed. But I'm not too concerned with it because we're barely 3 games in. It's going to be an adjustment period for sure. And Los Angeles is always a lot of pressure. But he's made for it. I know he is. I've seen him his entire career. We'll get it right, guys. But again, I understand you guys' frustration because tonight was not fun at all. Watching this game just had way more lows and highs, right? Way more lows and highs, and we got to figure that out because at the end of the day, we have too much talent not to figure it out. It's all about the combinations that he puts out there now, in my opinion, Let's see. D. Free says, well, no, if the bar is that Luka can defend bigger players, that's always been true because he's big and strong, but he's still going to end up on point guards. And this is why we need those other players to be out there with him. The Vandals of the world, the DFSs of the world. They'll cover a lot of his deficiencies, just like the Warriors. That's why they went out and got Jimmy to go with Draymond, because they want to cover up a lot of Steph Curry's deficiencies, right? Superstars like Luka, who are not elite defenders, and Curry, you need to cover those up. And that's why it was very questionable when we made this trade, because we actually needed a big man, not another wing or guard, but it was too great of an opportunity to pass up, and I'm still happy we did it. It's going to take time, as we can see here. He said, bro, our big men are trash, and it's not a big man in the buyout market that can help us. I want a championship this year, but without a defensive-minded lob big threat, we're not going far. We'll see, DJ, because, again, we haven't seen what this team can become just yet. We have wings, interchangeable wings, which kind of fit with the modern-day NBA. I agree, and I think we're going to address the big man in the offseason. So I was really excited when we got Mark Williams because he would have helped us a lot, believe it or not. I know he didn't look great tonight with Charlotte, but he had his little moments, right? But at the end of the day, the Lakers just have to adjust and roll with the punches with what we have. We still have one potential move they can make. Let's see if they make any or if they just go with this. Alex Len has not been impressive at all, but at least he wasn't as trash as he was the first game today. So that's progress. But we'll figure it out. It has to be figured out. We have a lot of talent on this team. It's all about putting it together. It's a huge challenge for a coaching staff midway through the season to just incorporate a brand new superstar along with the one you already had and the role players that were already playing at an elite level like Austin and guys like that. So it's a big move, and it's going to take a big change in order to get us to get things right this year. But I believe in this team. There's something about this team that I feel like is eventually going to click. Hopefully it don't take more than 3 to 5 more games. Hopefully. But who knows? To be honest, who knows? In all fairness. Nori said Portland's hottest team in the league, plus no LeBron and Luka. Hopefully not, man. We'll see what happens. Again, it's the NBA. Anything can happen, as you saw. We got beat by a bum-ass franchise. We got beat by the Charlotte Bobcats all over again. The spirit of Emeka Okafor came back to cook us tonight, and it was ridiculous. Like, I don't care how good LaMelo is. You had 13 wins on the season. Last thing I want to see is this little gerbil out here flexing and pointing at his tats and shit. Like, I don't want to see that crap. You got 13 wins. Relax, right? But they get the right to do it because they beat us fair and square. Well, I wouldn't even say fair and square, but they beat us. Bottom line, right? But Portland is tough, and it's another test. But guess who's going to be tougher than them? Denver, who's coming up on Saturday. Guess who's going to be tough as well because they want to prove something. Dallas, who's coming up after that. So it's not going to get easier, and we just have to roll with the punches and make things happen. This was a major loss, though, because we played both LeBron and Luka. I would have preferred that LeBron sat out and saved his effort for tomorrow, but now we might actually miss one, if not both. Just disappointed, man. Disappointed in this loss, for sure. He said, if you start Vando, who comes in to sub for Jackson because Len isn't a regular rotation piece? Well, he played in this rotation tonight. He said won't be in the playoffs. If Is it DFS? I'd rather start DFS and sub in Vando. Um, I still want to start those two. We'll figure out the rest later. What's most important is how you set the tone to start the games. If you notice during that stretch when we were dominating teams, when we won 9 out of the last 11, before these last two losses, we had started out with great defensive energy and we were locking up teams. Since we got Luka and incorporated him with Austin and LeBron, it's gone the opposite, right? Now we're an offensive team who, by the way, had a shitty offensive game today. So my solution has always been to start both of your defensive players to mix in with the offensive players you already have. You figure out the bench later. If it ain't going to be Alex Len, go give me Stanley Johnson, play small ball. If it ain't going to be him, there's got to be somebody on the buyout market. Heck, sign Debo on a two-way contract, Coloco. There's always a solution for it. But one thing is for sure, we should not start with 3 defensive liabilities on the starting lineup. Rui at times can be a defensive liability as well. So that would be 4. That would be Austin, Luka, LeBron, and Rui. It's just like, they're going to take turns getting cooked at that point. By the time you make the adjustments and bring in the defensive wings and players, they already caught a rhythm. So, yeah, I don't know. He said the set was to get the ball off of LeBron Prince. He said, LOL, he literally just hit 1 5 seconds before. We'll figure it out, man. I'm not too worried about the rotations yet, but I do want to see more defense incorporated into all of this for sure. Dude, what was the purpose of Alex Len? I would rather have Coloco at this point. My God, he's trash. There's only 2 games in, but I agree. I haven't liked what I've seen from Alex Len at all. And if he's not going to be a rotation piece, then there was no point in getting him for sure. But we'll see. We will see, man. Thanks for super chat, bro. But you're right. As far as what's the purpose, I thought he would be better than he is right now. It's early, though. 2 games in. It is an improvement from the last game to this. If I have anything positive to say, there's an improvement from that to where we're at right now. There was somewhat of an improvement. Okay, when Alex Len was on the floor, the last game he was getting destroyed, but then again he played off the bench today versus starting the second half. He was actually a +8 on the plus minus. Not that I care for that stat. He only had 1 rebound though. We got to do better than 1 rebound. The one thing I did like is I saw him run back on defense a couple of times, so he was trying at least. I'll give him an A for effort. But outside of that, man, he might be just too flat-footed. He might be laterally cooked. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell, Passport. But again, appreciate you, man. Mamba said, get your shit together, Lakers. Yes, they have to. If they want to compete this season, they got to stop losing to these bummy, scummy franchises, all right? We just lost to the team that tried to finesse us. You know how frustrating that is? As a Laker fan, this team tried to finesse us and give us damaged goods, and now we lost to them. They're smirking. This is their Super Bowl tonight, all right? Just like, and by the way, if you guys haven't paid attention, all these bum-ass teams like the Jazz and the Charlotte Hornets, the next game, they won't play half as hard. When they face the Lakers, this is their Super Bowl. Obviously, we're always in the media and the limelight, so they're always performing to try to, I don't know what they want to prove, but, they want to prove they belong, I guess, and this is what the Lakers have to expect. Even though we're not the defending champs, we have a bigger target on our back than Boston. Nobody gives a damn about Boston. They're looking at us right now. They're looking at, the teams that made a splash at the trade deadline, and that's fine. I wouldn't want it any other way. Go ahead and give us your best shot because, steel sharpens steel. If we want to get right before the postseason, we got to go through these tough tests. What if JJ's not the guy to coach this team? Might take a veteran coach to coach Luka, LeBron. I think JJ will be fine. I like what he's done so far. Didn't like what he did as far as adjustments and rotations so far, but it's early. We have to give him a little bit of grace. We don't want to overreact to everything, right? Oh, we're already saying Alex Len is a bum. We're already talking about, is Luka? I read somebody ask me, is Luka Laker material? Of course he is. He'll be just fine. He's had glimpses of brilliance, but glimpses isn't enough in LA. We expect consistency. He'll eventually get there. I don't know when, but he'll get there. And when he does, there won't be the same question marks. Everything will be, I think, settled in. We got to let him settle in a little bit. But, yeah, tonight was not a good showing for him. Tonight was not a good showing for Austin. For a lot of players. LeBron showed up early in the game and late in the game. But in the middle, he kind of went away for a little bit. That's fine. He's 40. I'm not mad about it. But again, still proving he's the best player and proving this is still his team. Who took the final 2 shots of the game, right? Luka didn't even get an opportunity. He was the inbounder, which I'm fine with because he's a great passer and LeBron had it going. So I'm not mad at it, but it just shows that it's still not Luka's team. Luka's going to have to earn the stripes, and I'm fine with that. I wouldn't want it any other way. Same thing happened to AD, right? It was never AD's team. He had to earn his stripes, but he ended up being a Robin. I think Luka will be that Batman. When? TBD. We'll see. We'll find out, and we'll break it down post-game as we go. Mamba said Lakers need to play Lakers basketball. They just giving it to Luka and want him to make magic out of thin air. A lot of standing around and chucking. You know, ironically, when we were standing around the most was when Luka went to the bench. When he was out there, it was moving. They're like motivated. When he went to the bench and LeBron was running the shows and they started playing 2-3 zone, you know what I'm saying? That is when we kind of got stagnant, right? And it's not LeBron's problem. Guys got to move without the ball. They got to move. They were ball watching LeBron, right? Let's see. D Free says we were dominating on both ends in that stretch without AD. We need changes, yes, but this game isn't the one to point for it. And I'm really sure JJ won't make the change to the group off this game. We'll see, man. I hope he does make changes soon, though, because the more we stay, the more we have a chance to keep sliding in the Western Conference standings. We don't want to overreact. This is a frustrating loss. Don't get me wrong. The Jazz game and this one almost erased the phenomenal 2 weeks we had previously, but they don't. I know what we're capable of. It's all about putting those pieces together, because before Luka, we looked phenomenal. Now we're incorporating a huge piece. We're changing the offense around completely because he's ball dominant. He's going to be ball dominant along with LeBron. And you know, you're already seeing an impact. Rui has benefited. He's getting some wide open looks. He cuts well, moves without the basketball. Austin might, if he continues to start, he's going to have to play more without the ball. But again, I prefer him off the bench for that reason. It's going to be a lot of changes, and hopefully we can implement those and adapt quick sooner rather than later. Best thing Len did in this game was be invisible in this game. Yeah, seriously, I'm not joking. He was very visibly bad last game. Well, but to be fair, the last game they had some explosive big men, right? And they cooked him. He's not very explosive himself. He's no Coloco. He's no Jamison. He's none of those guys. So, you know. Yes, Tamika, Coloco is on a two-way for sure. Coloco is on a two-way, but they can always cut somebody like maybe Shake, who they're not using, and give it to Coloco, right? The roster slot for the minimum, which we still have, I think, less than the minimum, prorated, like $750K, something like that. So, you know, they got to figure that out. Whatever piece we need, we got to adapt. They gave all the Len the chance because he's the bet with the big body. Yep. Facts. Have you seen the newest, hottest wrestler on The Secret called Cocaine? The newest, hottest wrestler? I don't watch wrestling, bro. I'm lost when you guys ask me wrestling questions. I don't. They missed AR. He's so underrated. He is. He's a great playmaker. He has the clutch gene. He's a big shot taker. Even though he wasn't, you know, Austin really wasn't having a great game this game, really, to be fair. But he was starting to step up when he got ejected, unfortunately. It is what it is. He said, I'll say I thought the biggest reason they lost this game is because they missed about a dozen wide open threes. They took way too many threes, D-Free. I told you I don't like this. You told me to get used to it, but I don't like it. I need to see more, you know, when Luka was attacking the paint and drawing defenses and finishing or kicking it to, you know, a wide open shooter or dishing it off to Jackson. That was him at his best. The threes are fine if you're wide open or if you're feeling it and you're on a rhythm. 53s is way too much. We were shooting less than 40 before Luka came. So I really don't want us to all adapt to shooting threes unless they're in rhythm, wide open, or if you got it going. That's the only three reasons we should be shooting threes, in my opinion. It doesn't feel cohesive at all right now. Max was starting to come into his own on both ends too. JJ has some work to do. And that's fine. It's a sacrifice we're willing to make. I told you guys when we made the trade, who knows how the rest of the year looks, but I'd be okay with it. I'm still okay with it. I think once you guys get prime Luka and he starts playing like himself again, you won't really notice a lot of the, you know, weaknesses that this team has because he'll cover up a lot of them. But you know what? We'll figure it out. Again, we got time. We got 29 games to figure this out before we can even think of the postseason. And then after that, we'll see. We'll see what happens then. But it is worrisome for sure. The fact that we don't have an elite big man, the fact that the rotations aren't set this late into the season, and the fact that we have to incorporate a whole mega star and basically start playing around him and LeBron is going to take some players out of it, but it's going to also make other players better. So we just have to, you know, we have to be optimistic as much as possible. The big picture here is that the Lakers have two superstars on the team and some really good role players. How they put that together, And how we do that moving forward, we will see. We'll find out for sure. I'm usually hard on Braun, but he was the best player on the floor tonight. Yeah, absolutely. By far. It's still his team. He keeps showing it. Again, actions speak louder than words. We've had this conversation, and I told you guys, I believe it's still LeBron's team. Eventually, there'll be a moment when Luka takes over. That moment was not tonight, and it wasn't the last week either. Hopefully, it eventually comes, but we'll see it. And it has to be like a good 3 to 5 game stretch where he's consistently showing us, okay, I have arrived. We're probably even going to see him do that. We're probably going to see him point at the floor and say, this is my house. That'll be the time when LeBron can finally relax and take some extra minutes off, right? But right now, we're rushing him back. We're rushing him back as much as possible, and I don't like that because he's 40, right? Let's see. Yeah, you subtracted AD, who has negative gravity, and takes no threes, and add Luka, who takes 10 threes a game, all which are terribly hard threes. Get used to it then. No, I refuse. If Luka takes more, somebody got to take less. I refuse, D-Free. That is not a winning recipe. We have to figure out how to mix it up more, right? Luka has to adjust his game, or everybody else going to have to adjust theirs. Take them when they're open. Take them when you're on a heater, and, but that's about it. I don't want these, forcing threes and settling. You're letting the defense off the hook when you do that. So, no, I will not get used to it. Luka, to me, looks disinterested on the court, which really concerns me. He looks like he's not fully in basketball shape yet. He looks like he's still learning what the Lakers are trying to do. Doesn't look disinterested. I saw him get a rebound, fight to put it back in. It should have been an and one, but we'll see that fire. It'll come. It'll come eventually, man. I'm not too concerned with Luka, but yeah, he does have to figure out, hopefully rather quickly rather than later. But I do like that he's still taking shots. I like that he's being aggressive. He's not being passive. We brought him here to be aggressive. So I'll be honest with you. Like, eventually he'll have that game when he's like 10 for 18. Then he'll have that game when he's like 5 for 20 or 15 for 21. He'll have those games eventually when he gets hot and he drops up big numbers. Maybe even as soon as the Dallas Maverick game. Who knows? Hopefully by Denver, he'll be cooking. But tonight wasn't it. 14 points on 5 for 18. 1 for 9 from beyond the arc is pretty bad. And if you look at all of our three-point shooting, right, it was bad all around the board, right? So Reaves was 2 for 7, 1 for 9 for Luka, 4 for 11 for LeBron, 1 for 8 for Rui. Best three-point shooter we had was off the bench, and that was Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 for 6. So if we're going to take them, we got to make them. Otherwise, don't take that many, please. It's just, it's all bad at this point. All right, let's see. Mark Williams failed his physical, but was able to play 29 minutes tonight. Something smells fishy in the water. They probably had buyer's remorse, bro. That's probably what it was, to be honest. It could have been that because, yeah, they probably realized, this guy's been injured for the majority of his career, and we gave up essentially 3 first-round picks. Dalton, who was a first-round pick, a pick swap, plus another unprotected first-round pick. It was an overpay, and it was a necessary overpay at the time because if we wanted a big man, that was going to be the price after we just traded for Luka. Nobody was going to help us and gift wrap us a big man. But, they rescinded the trade and it's over with now. And hopefully in the offseason they can address that. Maybe we can get a Nick Claxton, or maybe we can get a Walker Kessler, or who knows? God knows what will be available in the offseason. I imagine that with this new CBA, the way the trade deadline was, more teams will be willing and open to discuss trades in the offseason, right? Whether to get over the first apron, second apron, whatever it is. There's going to be a lot of salary dumping and salary moving and trying to acquire picks and stuff. And we'll see. We'll see how it goes. He looks like an overrated Christian Woods. I like his talent. Just because we didn't acquire him, I'm not going to talk trash about Mark Williams. I actually think Mark Williams has good hands. If he could stay healthy, he would have been a promising prospect for the Lakers for sure. But if he doesn't stay healthy, what's the point of keeping somebody like that around, right? Like, there's no point at all. There's 0 points in keeping a player that you're going to overpay for and then potentially have to re-sign to a long-term extension when his contract's over because he's still young and he has potential. But what if he ends up being the next Bynum, except minus the championships? I mean, you never know. Bynum retired prematurely because of injury history, and maybe the Lakers were traumatized based off of that. I don't know. We'll never, I guess, fully understand that. But all I know is the Lakers have to figure it out if they want to be successful this season. And I think they will. They'll figure it out. I don't know how long it'll take, but we'll be here celebrating when they do figure it out. For now, very disappointing night tonight, chat. We're going to chalk it up to, I guess they still haven't fully gelled. I don't know what they got to stop shooting half-court shots in practice or whatever's going on because it's not working out trying to build the chemistry. They better, for reals, practice and run some sets and do what we got to do because offensively we were cooked tonight. Tonight, yeah, defense was not that great, but we only gave up 100 points, which isn't also that bad. It's just the problem was we scored 97. The turnovers, settling for threes and not making any of them basically cost us this ball game. So hopefully tomorrow we'll be better off. But it's nerve-wrack time because we got Portland, followed by Denver, followed by Dallas. And I hope we can at least win 2 out of the next 3, at least. Right? So Mark would be good for us, but he is a defensive liability for sure. I'd much, much, much rather have Walker. He's been my target since last summer, bro. So I really hope that they will budge eventually. But if they don't, we got to figure something out, right? Maybe we move to try to get somebody in free agency at a decent price, or maybe, like I said, Nick Claxton can be had because he doesn't really fit the timeline Brooklyn has, even though we don't really know what the hell timeline Brooklyn could have. But, at the end of the day, guys, we'll figure it out. It's the Lakers, man. We were playing great basketball before the trade, and we will eventually play great basketball after the trade. It's just a matter of time. Hopefully sooner rather than later, because I know we Laker fans, the world is falling right now the way we lost these last 2 games. I get it. It's going to be a tough sleep tonight, but we'll regroup. We'll, hopefully bounce back with a win tomorrow and figure things out, all right? No updates on Maxi Kleber. I want to say thank you so much, Kimiko. I do appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys for tapping in tonight. I can't say it was very fun, but luckily we have a game tomorrow, so I will see you guys there for pregame. And hopefully we're talking victory. It is a road game, so I'm a bit concerned, but and we don't know the updates on whether LeBron or Luka will play, if either. But hey, man, we live to fight another night. All right, Lakers till we die, baby. Appreciate you guys again. Thank you so much to my sponsorship, Prize Picks. You guys know the promo code already, and we'll talk tomorrow, man. Enjoy. I can't even say enjoy, but have a good night, guys, and see you guys then.